Ryatia decided to mediate negotiations between Russia and China. However, Aliyev has a different situation. He introduced many people of Baku to politics. However, he's now left the political scene in Baku. But why shouldn't he try again? The report on the special mission of Cyrus Vance in Azerbaijan is ready for airing. Today, UN Representative Cyrus Vance held intense negotiations with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Azerbaijan, Gusan Gusanov. Given the delicate nature of the issues concerned, talks were held practically behind closed doors. When speaking to journalists, American Cyrus Vance said that he was satisfied with the negotiations and the amount of information on the sources of the conflict in Nagorno-Karabakh. He also announced that he may fly to the mountainous area in Nagorno-Karabakh, the conflict zone itself, although he did admit that only Azerbaijan had promised security. And the other situation in the other side will be clarified in Yerevan. Cyrus Vance said that he knows of the Khojaly tragedy, which has been reported by Western media sources. Today he was given the special opportunity to meet with residents who were miraculously saved from Khojaly, which was destroyed by Armenian militants. In city hospitals, these people related to Cyrus Vance the horrors which they had witnessed in the conflict zone. Cyrus Vance wished them a speedy recovery and hoped that this situation will never be repeated. The military problem was also raised at negotiations. The military is often a subject of conflicts in these zones. There are very sad statistics. In the first 2 months of this year alone, there were 118 attacks on the Transcaucasian military district. 13 soldiers and officers were killed. Who will protect our protectors? The Deputy High Command of the CIS forces, General Pankov, proposed to subordinate the Transcaucasian forces directly to the Russian command. In his opinion, the name of the district should be changed to the Transcaucasian Group of Forces. I'll continue the military theme. According to Komsomolskaya Pravda, military units in Salazgarov village near Riga were transferred to Lithuanian jurisdiction. Several officers and non-coms will begin the official march out of the Republic. What fate awaits the soldiers who will depart Lithuania, and where will they serve? The position of the three Baltic republics on troops deployed on their territory, but still under the jurisdiction of Russia, is well known. They propose the full withdrawal of Russian soldiers in a shorter period than the 5 years proposed by Russia. This position was stated to NATO Secretary Manfred Werner, who concluded a trip around the Baltics today. Werner, while understanding the situation, said that bilateral negotiations are the only way to resolve the problem. Many questions must be resolved at negotiations. The Balts believe that security will only be protected when all Russian troops have left their territory, but Russian security is also a factor. We've always considered troops in Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, and Germany a first echelon of defense, while troops in Belarus, Ukraine, and the Baltics are a second echelon. We're losing yet another echelon, leaving the southwestern and southwestern territories open to foreign troops. Troops are withdrawing from the Baltics will obviously be redeployed to cover these holes. However, this demands time because soldiers redeployed to the territories need somewhere to live. After the withdrawal from Eastern Europe, soldiers with families, unfortunately, in the amount of 250,000 officers and non-coms were without housing. Withdrawals from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are the following: 45,000 from Estonia, 67,000 from Latvia, 60,000 from Lithuania. This is the news. In Minsk today, the session of the Supreme Soviet of the Republic continued its work. On the eve of the meeting of the CIS heads of states in Kiev, which was considered at this session, many Belarusian deputies believe that the economy has become hostage to politics because of the collapse of this Commonwealth. I believe that there are creative as well as destructive processes going on, but it's simply that on this type of background, they're hard to see. But they are there. And I believe that in Kiev, we will confirm and discuss and find a way to fulfill the resolutions we've already adopted. We'll also review the military question, and I was glad to learn that Russia has formed its own Ministry of Defense, because this will simplify the situation. Now we can distribute the army according to regiments. I believe this meeting will produce results. At the same time, in Kiev, everyone is readying for the March 20th meeting. This CIS heads will reside in the former Ukrainian Communist Party Hotel Zhoskino. According to Leonid Kravchuk, the meeting itself will take place in the former Communist Party's City Executive Committee in Kiev. Ostanko has reported that Tajikistan will adhere to the idea of a unified CIS forces. 5 former Union republics have formed a general customs union: Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. Today, not far from Najbalak region, where a new oil site was discovered, there was a meeting of the Uzbek cabinet of ministers headed by Karimov. The Flight Control Center reports that the Soyuz crew has begun medical experiments. Tomorrow, the crew will dock with the orbiting space station Mir. Parliamentary elections in Georgia will take place no later than October this year, according to a resolution adopted by the State Council. The war brought on a very difficult situation around the country. In Tbilisi, I've met here and elsewhere with many citizens. This is a very great crisis in the most direct sense of the word, and it became catastrophic. Edward Shevardnadze is well known due to his many different positions. Jeb Yassiliani, the former chairman of the military council, and now Shevardnadze's deputy at the state council, is known by few, though he was one of the people most involved in the latest events in Georgia. As far as my last post, I'm not hiding anything, turning everything over. This is just an excerpt from our program. The full interview will be shown at 11:55 on Channel 1. Today we received news about a decree by the Russian president stating that the leaders of the administration in Voronezh region were relieved from their positions. This is due to serious violations permitted in the Voronezh region, including the misuse of trucks intended to deliver corn and food to state and collective farms, and the misuse of official positions for personal gains. As a result, Viktor Kulashnikov and Alexander Moskvit were removed as the heads and the deputy head of the Voronezh region. As we've already told you, there are many complaints from organizations, citizens, about the corruption in the Voronezh region. The media has covered this often. The Russian president sent a commission to investigate these complaints. As a result, President Yeltsin signed today's decree. And now economic news off the teletype. The miners' strike in Belarus and Zelogorsk continues. Among the demands are to restore the minimum wage of 8,000 rubles and to give a portion of the hard currency earnings of the collective back to them. This is from Itartaz. The Upper Inform Agency reports that Donetsk driver strike continues. After day one, the entire industrial region has been disrupted. The Minister of the Economy in Russia, Andrei Nechayev, held a press conference. With the price liberalization, prices on food, energy, goods will increase by 50 to 75%. This is his forecast. Given this, is intended to double the pensions and salaries in the Republic. In characterizing the economic situation, the minister noted that in February, Russian prices increased by 5%. The volume of production, however, is down by 12.5%. The government will maintain its general line in the first stage of the reforms, and it will treat financial problems problems with strict credit and budgetary policies. The biggest danger is a crisis arising in enterprises which are now unable to make payments. There is less money in their accounts. However, they may be granted credit privileges. These will be primarily for agricultural and other related industries. These credits will be used to liquidate debts and buy raw materials. Representatives of the unions, Russian trade unions, businessmen, and the government met in Moscow today at a trilateral commission on regulating the social and labor relations. There are a range of problems, procedures for increasing transportation, distributing jobs. They reviewed problems in Kemerovo and the increased tension there. This is the first time in Russian history that we're faced with a situation where people have expressed the desire to strike and not to restrain themselves. And as mediators, both the government as well as the Association of Unions, Russian businessmen, and the government have been expressed.